Hi, my name is Mike, and this is a short video on the Jones bike, LWB HDE. So this is the bike that can be converted to an electric bike, their third version. I think it's the V3. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my riding style on the bike mainly, and why I bought it, and what I like about it. And the reason that I bought the bike is I was just getting sore climbing. I'm a 56-year-old avid mountain biker. I've been riding BMX and bikes my whole life, avid recreation. And my neck and back was just getting sore. So with that, this bike found me on YouTube. And we cannot test ride them because they're just made in Oregon. So I had to rely on YouTube videos purchasing it before I purchased it. With that, I became a little bit more intrigued. I'm a full suspension rider, and I would encourage anybody to ride a full suspension bike. However, this with the geometry and what I was reading about it intrigued me, so I ended up taking a chance on it, and Jeff talked me into getting the latest version. I was concerned about how long the rear chain stays are, and really there is no reason for it. This bike's long wheelbase is about equivalent to an extra large Ibis, let's say, full suspension. The Ripley. But I found, yeah, it handles great. And the questions that I had were, is the rear chain stays too long? Is the bike going to be too heavy? Will it really climb that well? I'm not a backpacker. I like to ride rough downhill. I like to climb. This is my workout bike, and I've been very happy with it so far. Normally I'm a very slow level ground rider, and I found that this bike I ride level ground very quickly. It's efficient. I like the handlebars. I like the positioning that he came up with. I've always been slow on flats, and this one allows me to, I probably was cruising on the streets about 18 miles an hour. So this is a stock bike. I had it came with the street tires. I bought the knobbies, which I recommend. It's got the mechanical brakes, and I changed the seat. The seat definitely needed to be changed. The gearing seems to be fine, and it runs smooth and it shifts nice. So I've been putting it through its paces. I'm up in Tahoe right now, and I rode some single track that was considered black diamond for the sandy South Shore with a lot of rocks. The climb was tough for me. I'm in okay shape right now, but the downhill, it performed great. If you're going to it's rocky downhill, and you just need to lean back more. Get your butt over the back tire and lighten up the front, and run at about, the tires at about 12 PSI for climbing. Now, let's see. I rode it with the street tires, how it came. And those are 2.8s, and I rode that up on single track in the Santa Cruz Mountains on dirt, and it did great. It slipped out a lot, but I was impressed with, wow, how well they handled. Then I put the knobbies on, and it turned into a different bike. They're much larger. The 3.25 where I bounced around everywhere on the street tires, and it knocked the rims pretty good. I had a higher pressure. These I was able to ride at a lower pressure, and only bang the rim maybe once all the way down. Now it turns like a motorcycle. You want to counter steer it. The more you lean it, the more it'll turn. I'm kind of bouncing around on this video a little bit. I got a rough outline, so bear with me. But I find it corners really well on sandy and packed dirt. And the more you throw the bike into it, lean it, it wants to be leaned, it will track, especially with these knobbies. As far as coasting, where I find a difference, I took this up to North Star, the bike park. I really wanted to run it through its paces, and that beats bikes up. I rode the black diamond, the double blacks on this. But for reference, coasting on gravel roads, not pedaling, I passed up guys on the full suspension bikes. They were coasting, and I gained on them very quickly. And this bike wants to be pedaled downhill and is super stable. At I was probably one point pedaling over 40 miles an hour down. It climbs really well. It's comfortable. You're set back well. You have plenty of adjustments, riding positions on the handlebars, just like he says. I don't want to belabor that. But I am not sore after riding it all day on those single tracks. Now, after North Star, yeah, was pretty beat up and needed to see a chiropractor. But for that type of riding, this bike I don't think was quite designed for it. But for the really steep, rocky double blacks, you have to go obviously slow. And I passed up a few full suspension guys that were standing, looking at a steep, rocky line, and I found a line and rode right through them. And they said, "That is gnarly, dude." It got a lot of looks and a lot of comments up at North Star. I was the only one on a rigid bike that day. North Star, it's the ski lift bike park in North Shore. If you want to look at some of those trails, look up photos there. So coasting, flat ground, it's very fast. On the steep climbs, technical climbs, not a problem. There's a trail where I rode my Ibis full suspension, and my buddy's got a modern Ibis. There's a small section we had to walk. I outclimbed them on this small, rocky, steep section. It just motoed right up it. And like he says, standing up on it, this is the only bike where it really works well standing up to pedal, and you get those climbs. Rocky, technical stuff. I was following a 21-year-old that rides this trail every day up in South Shore on the black single track, and he took me on a steep granite rock downhill, probably about 40 feet of granite at a 45-degree angle, and I followed him right down it. You just put your butt over the back tire. It pushed the mechanical brakes to their limit, but I rolled down slowly. It was not a problem. It was very steep, and he said none of his friends had followed him down that. And even on the transition, you just transition slowly, and it wasn't a problem. My next upgrades, probably going to be the carbon rims for the wider rims. I've looked at putting Cush core in here. I'm debating about it. They just don't make them quite wide enough, or it'll be maxed out. Carbon rims and the carbon bars will be next, and then maybe the fork. That's a pretty good investment. The seat was a definite upgrade. The stock seat I didn't find comfortable, and the pedals I put on some. What brand are these? I put on some my old high-end climbing flats, and they work great. So I'm happy with the bike. I'm glad I bought it. I had to wait 5 weeks for it. I think this is a medium. It's great for long rides where I would always get sore on long rides. And this will probably be my lifelong bike. I'm gonna maybe get a higher end full suspension, which I've always been used to. But then again, if I go to North Star again, I'm probably better off renting a bike. The one issue I had, and found out this isn't the bike. This was me in the terrain. I did bend a rim and lost air pressure and punctured the tire up at North Star, banging a rock. Really, this came down to it's the terrain. Talking to the bike shop, everybody bends a rim, but it shows that I did ride this as hard as I think it could be ridden. Jumped it, I cased it on a jump, landed freaking really hard. It'll beat you up. I was exhausted, my legs are sore, but it's doable. It's not made for double black and black diamonds, but I wanted to push it and see what. So I recommend the bike. I'm going to put some more videos on it, hopefully of riding. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Hope this helped. Please leave any comments below or questions too. Thanks.